sitting in the car, and they say, come on, get out, watch them leave. And I picked up the dog, my dog Delcy, a dachshund.
Uh-huh.
And I was standing there, we were watching the craft leave. It becomes surrounded with this red, fiery substance. It looks almost like fire, but it's not.
Wow.
Lifts out of it, and it dips up. And I'm saying to the dog, Chelsea, look at this. You may be the only dog in the world to see this.
Lightning is visible. You have a huge electrical discharge, and the gas emits light in the form of lightning bolt. If you were going to see one of these crafts at night operating, it would appear really as a glowing ball or just a bright light in the sky from a distance. Even close up, you'd see a glowing halo around it. This is typically what you'd see in your normal UFO sighting.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to The Ground Up. I'm Jay. Today I want to talk to you guys about something. It's going to be on UFOs and aliens. But first, I just want to say that I'm not actually an enthusiast of UFOs or anything like that. I'm just going to speak on this topic because of a situation that happened in the past. An actual situation where I had seen something. I didn't know what it was. So I think that this came about just as of, like, out of curiosity. I wanted to see exactly if there is any falsities or truths to the stories of UFOs because of the situation. And I had actually seen something. I don't know if it was a UFO or not. I don't want to assume anything, and I'm not going to tell you exactly where I was or what I was doing. But yeah, I just want to get on with it. So pretty much, I decided to get into investigating the situation, and in doing so, I first had to determine would it be the best way to look at this. So the best way to look at it would be, there are two types of ways stories come about, because right, UFOs, they're usually heard as stories. And so the thing is that hearing these stories, you have to assume either it's fiction or fact, right? It's fiction or fact. And the thing about that is, how you determine is, there's different ways. The first thing you want to ask is, did this come about as a fictional tale? Was it a fictional tale before there were sightings? Or were there sightings before there were tales or anything? Because, it's become popularized, aliens in movies and everything like that. So I did a little research. I looked into it, and the first things that actually were the case were the actual sightings. And then, so with that being said, I eliminated fiction out of that, as saying it wasn't out of stories, but it was actually out of sightings. That doesn't mean that the sightings were correct. I did not determine that just based off of that. I continued to look deep, and I went into the story of Betty and Barney Hill, and I'd come across them. So I started really looking at her interviews that she had on YouTube, and really looking into the things that they said. They said that there was no way to debunk the story. And so I had to look into this more and to see if I could find any cues of her actually lying possibly on the interviews, or just making stuff up, or maybe she seemed as if maybe she would seem as if she was crazy or anything. I didn't personally see anything. And then so I had at that point determined that I would take her word a little more serious, but not to a complete extent of I'm just going to trust her, right? You have to be investigative if you're going to look into something. You have to be unbiased. And so I looked into it, and there are things that she said that stuck out to me. So one of the things that she said was that whenever she saw the UFO, what she determined it was she said she had saw it as multiple colored lights coming out of the craft, right? And so if I were to take this as something to be investigated, as opposed to just brushing it off, if I were to actually look into that and say, multicolored lights, why would a alien aircraft need multiple colored lights? Would they need it? So the question at that point would be, is that a want or is that a need? Well, from gathering other information from her story, saying that she said that these creatures that she actually came across were wearing matching uniforms, and that they had sort of specific tasks to do. Like one was a leader, the other were crew members, the other was the doctor or the investigator or whatever you want to call them. And so by looking at that, from that perspective, you could say they sort of had a type of a mission. They had an objective, right? And in an objective, you're most likely not going to have something to where you can, long story short, you're not going to have multicolored lights on something just because you want it there. If you have a mission or whatever, you see multicolored lights coming out, they're not having a party inside of the thing for some, I doubt that's the case. So what I interpreted that as is it was most likely possibly a need or an effect of a need, right? Maybe the lights were coming out because of something else that they needed. But I doubt they need the lights just to, make themselves look flashy. So multiple colored lights is not really going to be useful in any normal sense. You're not going to need multiple colored lights just to see, unless, I guess they can only see in multicolor. I don't know. One of the possibilities that I had come across was that these multiple colored lights were beaming out. Another mention was that it was flying in a way that was different from any aircraft, any human aircraft. And then so with my mind, I put these two things together and said, is it possible that the multicolored lights have something to do with the way that it flies? And then so I looked into that. I looked into the possibility of electromagnetism having something to do with gravity. And you guys are going to be a little surprised about this. It's going to be crazy, but the thing is that at first I thought that I'd come on to something because I looked up videos on electromagnetic levitation, and it turns out there is a way for that to happen. We actually have that now, but that is not what was going on. So upon my investigation, I decided to look further just to verify or to look for any other cues. And whenever I was looking, I had come across Bob Lazar. And so in doing so, he explained his story, and I'd also looked into his credibility and, past videos. Everything just seemed to sort of go together. Everything sort of made sense, right? And so I look deeper into Bob Lazar, right? There's certain things that he would say that I would look into. And so I'd actually found a document online with this picture. And in this picture, if you look at the very bottom corner, you'll see there's the electromagnetic spectrum. And on there, it actually shows gravity right after cosmic rays. But there's more. Betty Hill described, as the craft was leaving, for there to be some red fiery substance around the UFO